Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something, well, truly mind-bending. We're talking about a groundbreaking AI called AlphaEvolve. And get this, it's not just solving math problems, it's actually discovering entirely new mathematics.
And this quote from the researchers themselves, it just sets the stage perfectly. See, this isn't about getting faster calculations. We are talking about a tool that acts like a real collaborator, a partner in the actual process of mathematical discovery.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First up, we'll look at what this AI has actually managed to discover. Then, we're going to unpack how it uses evolution, but for computer code. After that, we'll get into the real secret sauce of its power, explore the super important human-AI partnership, and finally, we'll look ahead to the new mathematical frontier this thing is blowing wide open.
All right, let's just jump right in. Section 1, AI discovers new math. And yeah, this is way beyond just solving puzzles. We're talking about inspiring, genuinely new research.
So the big question is, what has AlphaEvolve actually done? Because this is not just theory, folks. They tested it on 67 really tough mathematical problems. And yeah, in most cases, it rediscovered the best-known solutions, which is cool. But the real kicker, it found improved solutions for several long-standing open problems. I mean, think about that. For example, it came up with a whole new way to tackle the famous Kakea problem. That's a super tricky puzzle about rotating a needle. And its insight was so profound, it actually inspired a brand new paper by the world-renowned mathematician Terence Tao. That's a huge deal.
Okay, so how on earth does it do all this? Well, that brings us right to Section 2, Evolution for Computer Code. We're about to see how AlphaEvolve basically breeds better algorithms. And you'll see the core idea is surprisingly simple. So, at its very core, AlphaEvolve is a system that mimics natural selection, Darwin's whole thing. But instead of evolving, say, birds with better beaks, it's evolving a whole population of computer programs to find better solutions. It's literally survival of the fittest, but for code.
And here's the engine that drives it all. It's this simple but incredibly powerful two-step loop. First, you have the generator. That's a large language model. It takes the best performing programs and intelligently mutates their code, creating all these new variations. It's basically the idea machine. Then step 2, you've got the evaluator. This thing runs every single new program and just ruthlessly gives it a score. The best ones, they survive and get to create the next generation. And that cycle just keeps repeating, getting smarter and smarter each time.
Now this next part, this is where we get to the really crucial innovation, the thing that sets AlphaEvolve apart from everything else. Section 3, Evolving the search itself. This, right here, is the secret to its power. Okay, look at this comparison. On the left, that's the standard way of doing things. You have an AI that evolves a program to just spit out a final answer. But on the right, that's AlphaEvolve's game-changing idea. It evolves programs that generate other programs that then go out and search for an answer. So think about it. Instead of evolving the final product, Alpha evolves the recipe for finding the product. It's a way, way more powerful and flexible approach.
And this search mode is precisely why this whole thing is so effective. It lets a single, kinda slow, and expensive call to a big LLM kick off a massive but super cheap computation. See, the LLM isn't finding the final answer itself. Nope. It's designing an efficient search team that can then go explore millions of possibilities on its own. It's a brilliant way to overcome that classic speed bottleneck.
So to really put this into perspective, let's compare AlphaEvolve to its predecessor, a system they called FunSearch. And as you can see, it's just a massive upgrade across the board. FunSearch could only evolve a single tiny function. AlphaEvolve, it can evolve an entire code file, hundreds of lines long. FunSearch was stuck with quick computations under 20 minutes. AlphaEvolve can handle jobs that run for hours. And maybe most importantly, it's built to take advantage of the most powerful state-of-the-art LLMs and to incorporate rich human feedback. It's just in a totally different league.
But here's the thing. AlphaEvolve doesn't just work in a vacuum. This technology really, truly shines when it's part of a collaborative ecosystem. And that brings us to Section 4, the Human-AI Partnership. You can think of it as a symphony of intelligence.
And this is where it starts to feel like something straight out of science fiction. The researchers didn't just build one tool. They built an entire AI discovery pipeline. So, step 1, AlphaEvolve finds an interesting pattern or construction. Step 2, another AI, called DeepThink, comes in and generates a symbolic proof that it's correct. And then finally, a tool called AlphaProof formalizes that proof in a system like Lean, locking it in as a verified result. It's a fully automated workflow, taking you from a spark of discovery all the way to a mathematically proven fact. Incredible.
But, and this is a really critical point, this is not about replacing humans.
In fact, the researchers themselves put it best. They said, quote, "It was the combination of human expertise and the computational capabilities of AlphaEvolve that led to the best results overall." What they found was that when a human expert gave some insightful advice in the initial prompt, the AI's performance just shot up dramatically. So this really frames the system as a powerful tool for a human-AI team, one designed to augment our intuition, not to replace it.
So you see, this tool doesn't just solve problems. It opens up an entirely new way of doing science. And that brings us to our final section, a new mathematical frontier. The big question here is, what comes next?
The term the researchers use for this is constructive mathematics at scale. So what does that actually mean? Well, it's the ability to systematically explore these vast mathematical landscapes with almost no setup time. The AI can find concrete, explicit examples and solutions that really complement traditional, more abstract theory. This lets researchers tackle huge classes of problems that were just completely out of reach before. And this leads to some truly fascinating implications for the future. I mean, you can imagine using a tool like this to systematically figure out how difficult different conjectures are. You could even classify problems, maybe labeling some as AlphaEvolve hard, basically meaning they're the ones that likely need a genuinely new, deep human insight to crack. And that would help us direct our own research efforts much more effectively, pointing us toward the most fruitful areas for human ingenuity. It's like a roadmap to a future of automated discovery, proof, and formalization.
Which brings us to the final, really provocative thought. If an AI can help us discover new, fundamental truths in a field as rigorous and abstract as mathematics, what other fields of human knowledge are next? Because it seems pretty clear that mathematics is just the beginning.